Listen. Can you hear it in your heartbeat? The sound of her wings? Truth be told, my health has taken a somewhat foul turn recently. It feels like any time I repel an infection that it takes a little more with me than the time previous. Each time I fight one off, I don't feel stronger, but weaker. The infections don't cause me pain, and for that I am grateful, but they rob me of sleep. They leave me bereft of my ability to concentrate and perceive the world around me, like cotton is choking my thoughts. They leave me unable to dream. And in that way, I feel like I am losing my path, losing my ability to live, like the me that is me no longer exists. The truth be told, I am afraid, terrified, in fact, of the possibility that all the things my body has will vanish, but leave me still alive. Sight, hearing, taste, scent, touch, and the thoughts in my head, all of them will go, but leave me still here. But it's also true that one of these days it is all going to vanish because I am going to die. I can only hope that I keep all my faculties about me until that day comes. But it got me thinking, what exactly does that moment feel like? Death, that is. What precisely does it feel like to die? Human beings have personified death in all manner of ways, giving a strange life to that thing which is its opposite. Sometimes it is a she, sometimes a he, sometimes something else entirely. How do you picture death? This isn't rhetorical. I genuinely want to know. Please leave a comment describing it. I'd love to read about it. Some of the more striking appearances of death I can think about is the one from the Last Wish movie, where death is in the guise of a pale, red-eyed Lobo, or death from the Seventh Seal, dressed in black and with white face. The plots of both stories are similar also. The characters seek to escape death, to fend him off, to delay him, to live but one more moment. I do not think there is anything wrong with this incarnation. In fact, I find it quite inspirational, if not slightly desperate or delusional. We fight death for as long as we can, but in the end, it does always win. So then, what is the purpose of the fight? The Last Wish seems to suggest that the point of our battle with death is to cast away our fear of it. Human beings fear death. Many cultures and peoples across the course of history have been fearful of it. But always it is run through with other emotions as well. Reverence, sanctity, respect, fear, and even on occasion, love. The Last Wish posits that we overcome death when our fear of it is cast away. I like that idea. I like the idea that when it finally claims me, I will not be afraid. I wonder if I will be able to live up to that. I hope so, but who can say? Death personified and death as an event are both as varied as can be. Random, cruel, gentle, meaningful, kind. Perhaps there is no meaning to it. In my lived experience, it often feels random, and then gains meaning as we sign it. I don't have any clear answers in regards to that. But after the duel, we are all destined to lose, there is another kind of death that I hope I see. After we are done trading war and words with the living, and after we are done fighting tooth and claw to delay the onset of death in the guise of Lobo or Grandmaster, the death I hope I see is the one from the Sandman comics or show, either or. Please, please God, let death be a kind goth girl, please! Death from the Sandman is beautiful, kind, caring, compassionate. When it's your time, what is offered is a pleasant but stern conversation. A few words at the end. When it's your time, it's your time. There is no more than that. But hopefully that's all right. Some people, of course, get angry, miserable, fearful. It makes sense. You only see her on the last day of your life. I imagine that the vast majority of people don't really want to go. But she is polite. She's kind. And also, I'm just saying, fellas, ladies, anyone in between, you want a chance with the literal embodiment of death, right? Right? So don't be a rude bastard when it's your time to go. But it also makes me wonder about what I dedicate my life to, the things that I set fire to myself to achieve, and everything else I give up for dreams and desires. Let us speak plainly. I mentioned before I have a book in the works. It's something I all at once love and hate. I am proud of it and also more ashamed than I could ever have imagined was possible. I pour my life and soul and time into this thing, But what will it return to me? In all likelihood, very little. It would be arrogant, ego, and foundationless pride to assume otherwise. This would be my first published book. How often is it that those are any good? Who knows how many, if any, will read a copy from cover to cover? I try to craft something special. Turns out something special takes far more time than I originally thought. It makes sense. It's not unexpected. And even then, who can say how much it will be worth, truly? I dedicate my life to this thing, which will leave no evidence of my existence behind. I give up duty, love, friendship, time, and choose instead this strange and alien road, the path less traveled by. There is a desperate kind of feeling I have associated with this life of mine. I derive my worth from the worth others have of me, and yet I choose to devote such stretches of time to something that few will ever find. The last few videos I have made haven't done very well at all. I don't know if you noticed. It's disappointing, but it's also something you have to get all right with. These things happen. I love writing and creating things. I still think that the greatest pursuit in this life is creation. Creation of anything at all, to pull a permanent part of yourself out and to give it a presence, to animate it, to divest yourself of yourself and become empty. But there isn't any guarantee at all that anyone will care for it. That's even ignoring our own skills. Even if we create at the maximum of our potential, even then, there is no guarantee any will care for it. And I do not create at the maximum possible level. I'm not even close, but damn it, I love it, even still. Writing this God-forsaken script is proving far more difficult than I originally thought. I can feel the roots of infection in my skull and the after images they have left behind. Imagine a flood of cotton in your mind, concrete, clear thoughts turned fuzzy and wispy like clouds. The sentences don't feel like they link together as well. The vision of the final product in my head is growing fuzzier. I've dealt what I thought was the final blow to this infection about 3 or 4 times now. Each time, something returns. Each time, it's something new. In my right ear, I hear a constant ringing tinnitus. In my left, nothing but cotton and a roar of keening silence. I've felt it wearing me down, a day at a time. Every night, it's like I lose a little bit more sleep. I wake slightly more dreary, slightly foggier, slightly more misty with clouds on my eyelids. I need to ask the people in my life to repeat themselves over and over. I can't listen to music as I once did, or hear birdsong as clear. I'm afraid that this will be permanent. Doctors prescribe me medicines and programs. Others say that there is nothing wrong at all. There is no pain, so you are fine. Some people just have to deal with things like this, you know. I'm terrified. And yet, it could be worse. I'm thankful every day that it is not. Perhaps this newest round of treatment and meetings will leave me victorious. My family and friends say that it must. They tell me that there has to be a reason for it. There has to be a cause. But does there have to be? Does there have to be a reason? Logically, of course, there must be. But that doesn't mean there is one. Sometimes things just happen, randomly, chaotically, meaninglessly. Sometimes people just die. Logically, I know that death isn't a white lobo or a shadow-garbed grandmaster. Death isn't a goth girl who says she will like my writing. Death probably isn't anything like that at all. It's probably just a cessation of life, the absence of the animation that moves our flesh and thoughts to motion. Death is probably just the inevitable interruption and failure of our systems, of our consciousness that it all relies upon. And then what? Will it be the same as before? Before I was I? Nothingness, absence, the void? Will I be awake, alone, in the dark forever? I don't want that. I'm afraid of that. I'm afraid of that void. I'm afraid that some part of me might survive there alone for eternity. Forever is a long time, you know. Longer than anything you can possibly imagine. Longer than anything I can imagine. Longer than any finite thing can imagine. There are other veins of thought, of course. There are those who believe in reincarnations and paradises and hells. I suppose reincarnation makes a sort of sense, doesn't it? After all, the ingredients that made up you remain here after you die. Your bones and body and everything that was you are still here, merely transformed. Eternal paradise. Sounds grand, doesn't it? Tremendously fantastic, a way to derive a kind of permanent fixture and goal in this life in order to hang on to faith and hope for the next. Eternal damnation is just as frightening. Any kind of punishment that lasts forever is frightening. I wonder if the people who wrote of eternal heavens and hells actually knew what they were talking about. Do they truly understand just how long eternity is? I don't know. I imagine some did and some didn't. And yet, I'm still afraid. Everyone dies alone. That's a fact. It's just you and your body. It's just you when you pass. But you can have people there when you do it. You're still alone in that moment. After all, death is something we almost face individual, solitary, alone. A duel between us and it. Even if we have people cheering us from the sidelines. But what exactly is that thing we confront? Logically, it is oblivion. But this world is not just logic. Stranger things happen. There is evidence for things that baffle me and leave me wondering what is behind the numbers and random, meaningless chaos. We derive meaning. Meaning exists alongside chaos and carelessness. It's interesting, isn't it? These different belief systems when it comes to death. The Emperor Skekso, who fears what lies beyond, says to hold on with all claws.
We know the torment that lies behind us, but what torment waits beyond this existence? All the more reason to hold on to life with all claws. No matter the cost.
The devil, who reeks of cancer and chemicals, Walter White says to never give up control.
Never give up control. Live life on your own terms.
The little orange Gato says he will hold on to this life with everything he has. Sometimes holding on can be noble. Sometimes it can be pathetic and miserable, a desperate attempt at control, or an honorable acknowledgement of a foe who will inevitably win. There are so many kinds of death out there, 1,000 faces it will wear, and sure enough, I think I will fight it for as long as seems respectable. For as long as I feel like. Doing what I do, trying to leave an impression behind that makes people think, now, there was a person who lived. But when my time comes, and it will come, I want to be ready. I want to be able to face it without regret. Many seem to live with the delusion that they will live forever. Especially in this day and age when theoretical immortality seems just one technological leap away. Even then, even if such machine wishes come true, you will not live forever. At least not in this world. If you ascend to a manufactured digital heaven, one day the data bank will break. One day every star in the sky will go dark. Our technologies and achievements and victories and defeats will all vanish to nothing. There will come a time when our gods and heroes all sleep as one. Death claims all eventually. And afterwards, the universe will go dark, and naught will be left but he, but she, but whatever form it takes. That thing we call death will lock the door to the universe behind her when she leaves. After all the striving and fighting and conflict of life, the death I want to see is the kind and beautiful one, a comforting presence at the end. We hold on with all claws and never give up control, until it would be disrespectful not to. Because at the end, what are we left to do but chuckle at the absurdity of it all? If I devote my life to stories, to movies and books and all their kind, imagine I devote my life to them and receive nothing in return. Wouldn't that be funny? Sort of depressing, yes, but what a thing to laugh alongside death with, no? Let go of expectation and control of the things you have no control over, but the things you do, grasp a hold of them with all claws. Never give up control. I'd love to talk to a death like that. Have a conversation before whatever comes next. Fuck me. If there was an honest, real personification of a concept like that, all I'm saying, people, all I'm saying is that there is a long tradition of mortal men and women falling for mortals, you know? Does it go well? Nah. But is it awesome? Absolutely. What am I saying here? I'm saying that death is strange. I'm saying that I'm afraid of it, but I'm also saying that I don't want to be. I want death to be a goth girl who takes me on one last banger date before my consciousness moves on to whatever is next, whether that be oblivion or something else. Is that a bit silly for me to want? Yes, no doubt. No doubt. But I think that although there are all these different kinds of incarnations that death takes, and although the different things they're trying to say are kind of contradictory, I don't think that does not make them both true. Hold on with all claws. Never give up control. But then, when the time comes, just let go. I suppose dying probably feels a little bit different for every person in every place, depending on the nature of how they go out. You probably can't control it entirely, but you can wish, I suppose. I'd like mine to feel like a warm embrace, something peaceful, serene, and kind. Oftentimes, people I know who are a decade or two older than me say I think about death too much, that I talk about it too much. Perhaps this is true. I mean, how many other people have a ranking of how they want death to look when she comes for them? But it doesn't feel like something I should stop thinking about. That feels kind of disrespectful for the gift of life I have been given. Thinking about death reminds me to appreciate life. It reminds me that I don't have forever. I have a limited amount of things I can do in this life. Then I should spend it wisely, my time wisely, in pursuit of things I love the most. I'm trying to live that way. It's difficult, especially with how some things in this world are going. But we have to try, right? Otherwise, how will I be able to face the cute goth girl at the end of my life and say that I lived well? That's the point, people. You have to be able to face her at the end with a smile and a look of pride and say that, yes, I lived a good one. Or will I doubt? Will I ask her, will I say, I lived a good life, right? It was a good one, right? If you ask that, I suppose she will answer and say that I got the same as everyone else. I got a life. No matter how good or bad or long or short. But man, do I hope I have something that impresses her, a thought, a dream, a single action, an event, something. But how can I? Think of all those who lived and died before I ever even drew breath. Think about how many will come after. How could I impress this hypothetical death with all of that? Who can say? But I must try. Shouldn't you? Don't you want to? Don't you want to believe me, amigo? Don't you want everything I say to be true? I don't know if it is. I don't know, but dream. I don't know everything, but I know that there are things that no matter how much I strive for, I will never know. I hope that by dying, some of those questions are answered, but who can say? How strange this life is, no? And alas, I'm not sure I have much more to say than that. I do know this. When I try to sleep this night, and the afterglow of infections rings in my ears, that I will hear my own heartbeat exploding like drums against my brain and mind. And on the edge of that sleep, when I sit between dreaming and reality, those heartbeats of mine will sound like wings. I wonder if they are hers. I wonder if it is the sound of her wings. Like and subscribe, do the thing, you know the thing. Leave a comment down below. How does your death look? Is it the big wolf? Is it the goth girl? Something else? I hope you are all having a wonderful day. I hope you're taking care. Be safe out there, all that stuff. I'll see you when I see you.